Hi, welcome to Harpy Stitch. I'm Amy, and this is my Flosstube all about Crossstich. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm going to start off with some life updates for you.
Hey there, how's your day? You look great. You've got such lovely eyes. Just looking at them makes me feel all warm down in my squeedly spooch.
Squeedly spooch? Did you hear that, Gaz? That's no human organ. Humans don't have squeedly spooches.
I've got a squeedly spooch.
Anyway, enough about my perfectly normal human organs. Let's get back to Amy with some life updates.
My stitching totals for April were 10,748.25 stitches. Not too shabby. I did get to go out with my husband, our editor-in-chief and producer, and my friend Teresa and her husband, and we went to a restaurant, had some delicious food. My husband had a PB&J hamburger that had a donut for a bun. Pretty crazy. And then upstairs, at the top of the restaurant, they have an arcade. So I shot some Terminators, I shot some dinosaurs, and I played a motorcycle game where you climbed on a fake motorcycle and beat my husband several times in a motorcycle race. So that was pretty fun. I have applied for the one remaining media specialist job in my district. I should hear soon if I get an interview. They're interviewing the week of Memorial Day. And just so you know when this took place, we are filming on May 20th. And yesterday I applied for 2 more jobs in a different district, crossing my fingers that something comes of one of those. We think we have an answer about my husband's chronic pain. Let him fill you in his little box if he wishes in more detail.
I wish it. Actually, I feel a little put on the spot, but that's okay. So part of the problem is myofascial pain syndrome, which is small knots that cause radiating pain throughout the muscle. I have varying degrees of pain in all of these places and then some. And anyway, it hurts all the time. Standing too long hurts. Sitting too long hurts. Just being alive, believe it or not, hurts. In my case, there's a tremendous amount of anxiety at the root cause. I'm not going to get into my various mental illness issues because who cares, but suffice to say, I got hillbilly genetics and a wicked case of the bad childhoods, which coupled together means I'm totally screwed. Especially since I recently figured out that the particular strain of cannabis my supplier has been giving me is actually causing me more pain instead of less. So I've had to stop smoking, which I did for emotional regulation issues. I don't really get to feel positive emotions without it, like joy. Without the way the pain has sort of focused itself mostly in an area on the back left of my head. I found some kind of lump a few centimeters below a very large mole that's hidden by my hair. The mole has been there for years, the lump has not. And now I have a strange, darkish spot that I can only describe as static in my left eye. I don't know what all this means yet, but at least my arm doesn't hurt nearly as much, so I'll take it. Anyway, I guess it could be any number of things, including cancer, but something is definitely going on. Bird Girl is taking it in stride, like she has so many things, but I know it's rough on her. I guess we'll see what happens. Let's get back to the show.
We were going to film this weekend, but I had a really bad stuffy nose and scratchy throat, and it would not have made good videoing. I do want to share one thing and ask your help if I could. Every year I do a fundraiser for NAMI, the National Association for Mental Illness. They do the NAMI walks, and I always create a listing so that I can raise donations for them. If you aren't familiar, they help people find mental health resources. They do free classes for people who either have mental illness or who are caregivers of those who are mentally ill. They advocate for mental illness and rights and things like that. So it's a really good organization. I will put the link to my donation page down below if you can. It would be great. If not, that's okay too. Now on to the stitchy stuff.
NAMI is a solid charity. Their rating with watchdog groups is very high, so you know that your money is going to help actual people in need. Unlike a certain pink-themed charity who only raises awareness, where raising awareness means they sell merch and pocket the cash, which is empty virtue signaling that doesn't actually help anyone. Anyway, NAMI is a trustworthy org, and the money actually helps people. I hope that helps you make an informed choice. Now, let's go check out those finishes.
All right, so to start off with, I have some finishes for you. I have 2 finishes since the last time we met. One is my Shawshank Redemption sampler. It was my 9th copy that I was commissioned to do. It took me about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I made pretty good progress. Got it done pretty quickly, so that was nice. I have not gotten another order, but I'm going to try to get started on my next one as soon as possible so I don't have to do it all in a big rush and I can work on some other things. My fully finished object for you is Red Foxes by Gloria and Pat from Endangered Youngins in 2003. I started it on February 11th and I finished it on May 12th of this year. It is on a piece of 14 count Aida for my stash, mustard yellow, 19 colors. It's 2/1, and it was a baby gift for a former coworker of mine at the craft store. I gave it to her yesterday. Was hoping to include it physically in this video, but I needed to get it to her before the baby was born, and the baby is dropping and very eager to get out and join the world. So I did find out when she came to pick it up that she had actually been sharing pictures of the finished product with people before it was framed. She was very excited. It is going to go over the baby's changing table along with some other fox themed gifts that she's been given. I'm hoping to see pictures of the finished area so I can see some of the other cool things that she got with foxes on them. All right, now, new starts. The first new start I'm going to share with you was my birthday start. I started it on 4/20. It is the Deadly Aquarium Sal by Lola Crossstich. This is my first Lola Crow. I've been eyeing Haunted Library and the Greenhouse of Curiosities, and I just didn't have time. They were almost done when I saw Greenhouse, so I skipped it for now. I will probably buy them later and do them. This is on 32 count Sequoia by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. There are 17 stitches in the frame, and there are 17 colors in the frame, and there are 32 colors in all. And I'm doing it 2/2. The next part, Exhibit 1, comes out on Friday, the 24th. I don't know if I will be close enough to start that yet because it depends on where it is. But I've made pretty good progress. I'm almost totally to the bottom. I think I have 2 more rows of stitches here at the bottom. I think the seagulls are super cute. I love all the greens. I was a little concerned about I did do a floss toss, but I was still a little concerned about the greens, but apparently we're going to be filling most of this in. I think it's looking really nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Exhibit 1 is. Finish up over here and then move this way. I decided to work on this column first because the greens here made it easier to count. So when I finish that, then I will help use that to make sure that I don't go too far down on this side. I have a feeling one of the exhibits is going to kind of do this and go off the edge a little bit. So that is my first new start for you. As I said, I'm really excited to see what kind of things are going to go in it. My second new start for you is Frogworts by the Black Needle Society. This is my first retreat piece, my first Black Needle Society. I started this on 5/4, my kid's birthday, as well as Star Wars Day. It is on 36 count Stonewashed by Seraphim. There are 36 colors. I'm doing it 2/2, and I did add the border that NLA Stitches on Instagram created for it. So the border will go around each project or each year and kind of go, it'll change sides. The footprints going down will change sides each year. I am using mostly DMC for this because it was way too expensive to do all the fancy floss, but I am using the called for fancy flosses for the diamonds here at the bottom. Got head wig completed. I've got a jelly bean completed. I am trying to get the footprints done and a little bit on years 1 through 4 for June 30th so that I can start on year 5. so I can play the games during the retreat and maybe get my house some points. I am doing this with my friend Teresa because we are both Harry Potter fans, and we thought it would be super fun. So I'm really looking forward to my very first retreat in July. All right, now it's time for whips. Sorry, cat.
This seems like as good a place as any for the old like and subscribe bit. So like us, won't you? Please? Oh God, why doesn't anyone like me? Oh man, sorry. I flashed back to junior high there for a second. We don't post a lot, so hit that bell so you don't forget about us.
I only have 2 whips for you this week because I've spent most of my time working on Deadly Aquarium Sal and Frogwarts. The first whip I have for you is the Supernatural Sal by the Witchy Stitcher. I started this on October 9th of last year. It's on 25 count country mocha. There are 21 charted colors. I'm doing it 2/2. I have substituted the black border for the Etoile 550, which is the deep purple. And then I have substituted the regular black for Raven from Gentle Arts for the unicorn's body, and Weeks Dye Works Fiesta for the mane, tail, and cross. I still wasn't sure how I wanted to do the unicorn's horn, so instead of finishing the unicorn, I jumped over and did the frame for the ogre. That is where I'm at with this one. I think this is going to be really fun to finish up and make some interesting choices for each creature to make it a little bit more unique to me. All right, my second and last whip for you is the Kingdoms of Life Sal by Stitchonomy. I started this on July 4th of last year. There are 25 colors. I'm doing it 2/1 on a piece of 14 count DMC. I added a big leaf and some other plants. I didn't get a ton done. It only fit one of my prompts. I was working on trying to get the red foxes done, so I used it pretty much for all the prompts and took the penalty stitches just to get it done. Not a lot of progress this time around, but some progress. And I really do like the way that it looks on this bluish green mottled fabric. I know it doesn't show up quite as well on camera, but I like the way it kind of makes me think of
I'm enjoying this scene.
Get on with it!
it makes me think of how stuff looks when you grow it in a lab in a petri dish. So that's why I picked this fabric for this project, because it's all sciencey. All right, next up is Hall. From
From the Valley of Serpents, these diamonds I took. I clean out those serpents with one dirty look.
Oh God, I'm trapped in the television. Call someone.
So the first pieces of haul I have to show you were my birthday present for my friend Teresa. The large bag I showed you last time was an early birthday present, and then I got another birthday present, which I was not expecting. So she's been making these Harry Potter project bags, and I had mentioned offhandedly once that they were cool, so she gave me one. So we've got our newspaper here, and then this lovely maroon and with the golden snitch on it fabric for my one bag. Project bag was not unexpected. I knew she had been making the Harry Potter bags. This project folder that she made me was a complete surprise. I had sent her a reel of someone showing off a project bag or project folder that they had made on Instagram, and she decided to backwards engineer it from that short video to make me one. So it's got a Velcro close, so I apologize for the noise. The left side has a big pocket, a little pocket, 2 smaller pockets, and a zip pocket. So then the other side has places to put your floss bobbins, or I guess small tools if you would like, and another pocket with another separate floss container here. And no pattern. She just engineered it from a 30-second video on Instagram. I was surprised and impressed. Another cool thing to put a project in. I got the husband to go to the local craft store with me that was closing down, that has been in business for forever. I've heard a couple of different reasons why it closed. One was that they weren't making any money. The other was that mom and dad died and the kids didn't want to run the family business. Not sure which is true, but I wanted to make a last trip and the husband went with me. There was a lot of cool things, but I was on a budget. I had already blown a huge amount at Stitchville, so I restrained myself. I got this neat little sewing kit that looks like some sort of magic bullet space thing. And I got these various little Halloween buttons that I thought I could use as embellishments on different projects. You never have too many pumpkins of different sizes or glittery spiders. So, unless you don't like spiders, you probably don't want any. But I thought this would be fun to have as an emergency supply for Halloween embellishments. One of the benefits of not filming this weekend was that this arrived today. This is my Creationist blue fabric by Fabric Flare. I am going to be putting my Dragons of the Sabbat on this. And I think it is gorgeous. And I think it is a perfect background for the astronomical dragons. So I will be starting that next year. The last physical piece of haul I have for you is the Mother's Day present from my kid. I had recently put this on my Amazon wish list. She got me Spooky Stitches by Maggie Smith. We've got a skeleton with a bookcase. There is a Halloween calendar. There's this really pissed off cat. A little ghost house with the moon behind it. This golden moth, I think, is going to be beautiful. This adorable little ghost with the spider webs and the spiders. Some black widow spiders. And an adorable little jack-o'-lantern. There's like quarter stitches and squash stitches. There are quarter stitches and squashed stitches. That is surprisingly hard to say. And I haven't done squashed stitches yet, so that will be a new experience. Don't know when I'll get to them. Maybe I'll do them next year for part of my 50 starts in a year. That is my last piece of physical haul. I did give in to getting 2 patterns that I really wanted. They weren't very expensive, and one of them was on sale. Just one of the reasons I went ahead and got it. So I did go to Charting Creations and get What Lies Beneath, which is this Octopus Island pattern that was on Heaven and Earth Designs and wasn't available. So now it's available through Charting Creations, and I've been waiting for that one for a while. And this is a classic art piece from France, and I am probably going to butcher the pronunciation, but it's basically a cat in a tree from Scarlett Quince, and I wanted to get it from them before they close their store at the end of the year. So let me see if I can say this French name at all close. Chat au clair de lune. So cat in a moon? I know it's a cat, but I'm not sure what all that other stuff means. That is my haul. Now on to plans.
How do y'all like my little avatar? He'll probably only be in this video. He's cute, but he doesn't really accurately represent me. I mean, I do look like a fat hairy wizard on the outside, but on the inside, different matter entirely.
So, plans. My main focus right now is the Deadly Aquarium Sal. I'm going to try to finish the frame. I'm going to work on it every night this week, Monday through Friday, to get as much done as I can. Then on Memorial Day weekend, I am going to use my frogworts to fulfill a prompt that says work on something for 3 days and get as much done as you can. And since I have Memorial Day off, I thought that would be the perfect time to take on that particular challenge. I did talk a little bit earlier about focusing on frogworts so I can get it started on year 5 on June 30th. I'm also going to try to start the Shawshank Redemption sampler, my last one of 10, because I would like to make sure that I have that partly done so that if I do get an order, I don't end up having to finish it during the retreat. I think that would be very sad. So I'm going to try to get that mostly done at least before the Frogwarts retreat. After those two things, my plan is now switched to finishing as many of my whips as possible because I plan on doing 50 starts for my 50th year next year. All right, now for shoutouts.
Hey, you guys!
I have two shoutouts for you this week. One is the Hibernation Stitcher, Angie. Angie likes true crime, horror, and I also want to thank Angie for giving me a shout out in their last video. Angie makes her own floss drops, has some really cute miniature dachshunds, likes spooky and nerdy projects, and has organized all of her projects by themes of the days of the week. So she's got like Murder Monday, Santa Saturday, and she kind of has done that and divided all of her projects into 7 different groups. And then she spins a wheel to figure out what she's going to work on that day. So she's making sure she's touching all of her whips, which I thought was a really interesting approach. My second shout out for you is Stitching with the Griffin cat. She is relatively new to Flosstube. Just been doing it just a couple of months. Only has 36 subscribers. So she is part of the under 1,000 sub club. Don't know if she's on the list yet. Should get her added if she's not. She does weekly videos, has a variety of projects, some more spooky, nerdy stuff, not surprising. She also has several block work projects. She talks about doing some more hand sewing work that she's done, and she might include some of that at a later date. But right now it's just Crossstich. So check both of those ladies out. They're very nice and fun to watch.
Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book.
Book recommendations. I have a nonfiction book for you this time around. It's called A Furious Sky, 500 Years of American Hurricanes. Oh, excuse me. A Furious Sky, The 500-Year History of American Hurricanes by Eric J. Dolin. I really found this interesting, partly because I remember some of the hurricanes that he talks about, like Rita and Katrina. But he also discusses how the different hurricanes affected American history. One of the reasons the French stopped helping us in battle is because their ships kept getting stopped by hurricanes and their ships were disappearing and their people were dying. So they said they wouldn't help us out in the Bahamas area anymore, and they would only deliver supplies to us at a certain port because it was above where hurricanes usually hit so that they could save their people's lives. And so that actually changed the history of the Civil War because of that. And it talks about, how it affected like other civil rights movements and women's rights movements and the history of why they started calling hurricanes after women and then how it changed so that it's men and women now. So some very interesting stuff about how those hurricanes have affected us and how hurricanes have progressed over the history of the Americas, not just the US, but the continent as well. So that was an interesting read. My children's book recommendation for you is Song of a Whale by Lynne Kelly. It is the story of a young deaf girl who learns about a lone whale from her science teacher. She becomes fascinated with this whale because his whale song is different than every other whale, and he can't communicate with other whales of his species. It is suspected that he is a hybrid of 2 different species of whale, and that is why his song doesn't match up. And they're not even sure if other whales can hear him or if it's just like he's speaking a foreign language. And she assumes that he's lonely because her voice is unheard as well. And she is obsessed with radios and repairing radios and electronics. And she decides to create a song for him so that he can hear something that sounds like himself and he won't feel so lonely. It's a very touching story. It looks at unexpected skills that people with different abilities might have that people will assume that they can't have. So it was a really interesting story, and I thought it was a great read for kids and other people as well. Now, for what we've been watching, the biggest movie that I've seen that impacted me since the last time was Abigail. It is a horror movie. It stars Alicia Weir as the main character, and if you might know her from the musical version of Matilda. It's also got Catherine Newton, who starred in Lisa Frankenstein, and it is the story of people who kidnapped this little girl from her very, very rich father, and it turns out that she was the wrong kid to kidnap. I'm going to leave it at that so I don't spoil too much, but yes, it was a very bad idea to kidnap this child. It was fun. It's got some good scares. There's some really creepy parts. It plays with some of the formats of horror a little bit. There's a few moments that are really kind of funny, but it was really good fun, and I recommend it. That is all I have for you today. I hope you have had a good couple of weeks. I hope you get to do the things you enjoy, and have a good day.